46 seconds of 2 logos. You know, Ridley Scott's last sci-fi film also opened with gorgeous aerial footage of an alien planet. That movie was called Prometheus. Here's hoping this is one of the only similarities between the two films, in case you confused it with regular old Some Part of Mars. Sue Storm still can't find Reed Richards on those satellites. Well, keep checking them.
Shut him off.
Mission Commander shuts 2 team members' radios off because they're annoying. And I am personally holding this Mission Commander responsible if anything goes wrong and one of these guys ends up tragically dead but actually abandoned.
How many samples do we need, Commander?
7. 100 grams each.
Trained, mission-ready astronauts know this information in their sleep before even leaving Earth, but exposition and all.
Commander, you should come inside. You're gonna want to see this.
You should come take a look at this cliché. How did this storm approach this quickly without them deciding to scrub far enough ahead to not have to walk to the map in 0 visibility? Either NASA warned them too late or they acted too slowly, but this planetary escape shouldn't be anywhere near this close.
13 degrees!
Well, I thought you said...
Map is gonna tip at 12.3.
What gives?
Commander!
On my way!
Much like every science fiction movie taking place on another planet, there's someone outside the ship taking entirely too long to get back in it so we can have a race against the clock.
Oxygen level critical.
Phew! Good thing Mark's unconsciousness had a convenient time limit. Dude, now you're gonna bleed out. Maybe you knew that, but Jesus. Maybe get some medical supplies ready first? Jason Bourne, astronaut. Also, Jesus, how did he even survive this overnight on a different planet? Movie thinks self-surgery on Mars isn't gonna make me pass up. Also, scenes that make you upset that the cute concessions girl was able to upsell you from a medium to a large popcorn and suggestive sold you the junior mints. But wait, it's not over. Did he staple his stomach back together? That's a loose end. Better tie that up. It is my opinion that Rubik's Cube still sells millions of toys every year because they're in every movie you watch.
So, I gotta figure out a way to grow.
Eating while talking to an unseen audience. Movie attempts to make botany cool.
The Martian, where you learn all the ways that being scientifically literate can save your life.
But Dr. Tyson, I mean, come on. Botany?
The Martian, where fluency in science, technology, engineering, and math rule all decisions of survival.
But maybe you should think of it this way, Doctor.
The Martian, where science, not human emotion, drives the plot's humor, interpersonal relations, tension, and suspense.
This is what you get when you argue
The
with...
Martian, where you experience love, hate, envy, anxiety, pride, and heroism, all through the lens of science.
Yo, Hansa, Jesus.
Man of science judges other people's Damn, that major wound he had 3 days ago is pretty much gone. Mars mission astronauts were sent to Mars with Happy Days episodes instead of like The Wire or Breaking Bad or any amazing TV show made between Happy Days and this futuristic mission to Mars. Premature celebration. They decided to have Mark's funeral about a month after he supposedly died. And yes, we accounted for the fact that a Mars day is only 40 minutes longer than an Earth day. This guy's name and title appear on screen after he's already been in the movie a good while now. Also, Teddy Sanders. That's the name you went with for your NASA director? Why not Stuffy Williams or Sparky Smith? In case you confused it with East Houston, Idaho, like those assholes in Superman 2 did. Jesus Christ, enough with the descriptions already. You gonna tell me the time too? Okay, thanks. I was wondering.
I'm definitely gonna die up here if I have to listen to any more god-awful disco music.
That's funny, man, but guess what? You're the guy who pressed play on Turn the Beat Around for some ridiculous reason.
I'm gonna have to science the shit out of this.
The Martian, where the protagonist survives, not on wit, prayer, or hope, but on sciencing the shit out of everything.
This is officially the least disco song she owns.
Did neither Mark nor the rest of the crew bring their own tunes to Mars with them? Also amazing the least disco song she owns just happens to be something that plays ironically with the current situation. Person stuck with narrow music selection ends up dancing to a song he used to hate cliché.
Don't say bring him home alive, Vincent.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Annie?
No more Vincent on TV. Copy that.
People can't learn from their mistakes and we're racist. Sorry, Vincent. Sean Bean isn't dying in this scene.
I know what I'm gonna do.
And I'm gonna keep the people watching this journal in suspense, because I know this will be a movie someday. In case you confused it with Pasadena, Thailand. The number of bikes and electric golf carts in this scene makes me wonder exactly how much of this film's budget was paid for by anti-oil interests. Man, it sure is a good thing Mars decided to chill with the deadly sandstorms that drove the rest of the team off the planet and nearly killed Mark, am I right? Thankfully, he's left to do all this in the Mars equivalent of San Diego weather. I realize he was trained out the ass before this mission, as all astronauts are, but he's a goddamn botanist. How does he have any knowledge of the decades earlier Pathfinder mission's technology? Thankfully, NASA has been using universal power cords for 40 years, so that if you get stranded somewhere, you can just power up old tech with new batteries. Obvious potato steam CGI is obvious. Also, he brought salt and pepper and olive oil to this meal, but chose to ignore them all and just use ketchup.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you super nerd Beth Johansson.
Amazingly, despite her nerd status, Mark is easily able to access her personal computer with no password. Speeding up the footage is perhaps the only way to make this figuring out how to communicate via still images and hexadecimal scene not 100% boring as f***. This part of the movie is silent because the studio needed a PG-13 rating. And if you hear f*** more than twice in a movie that is not rated R, society devolves into a Neil Blomkamp movie. I mean, what are the odds Jessica Chastain and Matt Damon would both co-star in epic space adventures in back-to-back years? That's just goofy, yo. This guy survives an awful lot on this planet. What does Dr. Tyson have to say about this?
The Martian may be the first sci-fi blockbuster ever in which nobody dies.
I think he means that in a positive way, and I'm inclined to agree. But the fact that he does survive so much in this movie is simple as hell.
Every day I go outside and look at the vast horizons.
Well, this movie's unnecessary repetition of Watney's text messages clearly added to the 2-hour, 12-minute runtime. I think the use of slow motion is also responsible for this movie's inexcusably long runtime. This movie is a lot like Castaway, only Matt Damon's hair never grows.
And we'll cancel the inspections.
Sir, if that ever got out.
It's on me.
Evidence that the Martian movie is fantasy. All who make important decisions are scientifically literate.
They gave them 2 weeks, so naturally this took twice as long, and probably still won't work.
She's rock solid at this point in flight. TVCs look good.
So let's all start cheering before the probe actually gets into space and I'm blaming this one on the jinxing people inside that room.
It's a lot to ask.
Thankfully for this movie, Watney keeps talking, even when he's only typing, as opposed to video recording his every movement. Hey, just because it says China in the name of the building doesn't mean you suddenly stop giving me both the city and the country it's in. I need to be spoon-fed. Also, suddenly, China to the rescue. Clear pandering to Chinese audiences in order to be one of the lucky movies that go to China is clear pandering.
假如我们什么都不做，
世界将永远不会知道，其实我们是可以帮得上忙的。
And not only are they going to help, it's clear they didn't need to help, making them that much more heroic. I mean, play the March of the Volunteers while you're at it.
What the hell is Project Elrond?
Have I ever mentioned how f***ing weird it is to have comedic actress Kristen Wiig in this decidedly not comedy movie? Hey, f*** the Golden Globes and their classifications. Despite a few laughs, this is not a comedy.
Yeah, but Elrond?
Because it's a secret meeting.
I love the fact that Boromir is the one explaining this, and they're making a cheeky in-joke, but many times the things that you enjoy are sins, so.
What I'm proposing is we start accelerating immediately.
Wait, I saw this in Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home. Only that movie had better use of colorful metaphors.
Rich?
Yes, sir.
Get out.
Thanks for being helpful. Now leave this up for white people to decide.
When this is over, I'll expect your resignation.
He means death, right? I mean, this is Sean Bean we're talking about here.
The MAV for Ares 4 is already there at the Schiaparelli crater, just waiting.
You mean a rocket full of f***ing supplies has been sitting there this whole time? Seems like they could have cut down on the we have to rescue Mark by doing it fast and cutting as many corners as possible decision-making that provided this movie with so many ups and downs.
Original pressing.
Lewis's love of disco is a never-ending source of filler. Once again, before the probe is even in space, these assholes celebrate prematurely again. Historically icy relations between the Chinese and American governments are glossed over for the sake of a single white guy's survival. Just as I've been predicting for years. And what do you say, Dr. Tyson?
Evidence that the Martian movie is fantasy. The USA and China cooperate with one another in space.
Everything's done with computers, but somehow this docking procedure requires a spacewalking astronaut valet. And nothing important happened in space or on Mars for 7 whole months. If he's 400 plus souls into this thing, then where the f*** did the back wounds come from? Is he f***ing Batman? Did the magic scissors Mark was using to cut his own hair for months and months get dull or something? The guy was perfectly groomed until it was time to show how horrible his condition was.
Yeah, the problem is the intercept velocity. The Hermes, well, it can't enter Mars's orbit. Otherwise, they'll never have enough fuel to make it home.
A minute ago, Donald Glover came in and said, here's the calculations, they all check out. And they clearly did, because the Hermes crew ran the calculations and confirmed it. Now suddenly the Hermes can't make the full trip because this movie needs more challenges.
If we go remote, we can lose the control panels.
In fact, all of this is something that could have been calculated before the Hermes started going back to Mars. It's absolutely insane all these problems are just now being discovered. I highly doubt they would have considered Rich's plan viable at all. Also, by this point where we're sending manned missions to Mars, why isn't the infrastructure in place to have fueling stations just in case something like this happens? Or hell, why not pack the Chinese probe with some fuel? Or send another probe toward the Hermes while they're going to Mars so they can meet up with it later. Now, you might say that's impossible, but we're about to see literally everything go wrong and one ship trying to perfectly time and catch a stripped-down rocket and everyone lives, so checkmate. Mark Watney would be amazing at CinemaSins. Near-future Mars mission astronauts have access to ecto-cooler. you. Times Square is like New Year's Eve waiting for the fate of Mark Watney. It's not a play-by-play where all the action is televised. You're just watching the damn news, for Christ's sake. Again, I grant you this would be a super watch television event, but why is the movie so convinced people like watching TV outdoors in humongous groups? I'm no NASA dude, but this tarp with open gaps instead of the windows and rocket top situation leaves me more than a little uncomfortable. Is this thing headed into space with a tent on the nose? How about wind resistance and other science facts? Well, as someone told me long ago, I really should relax. And here's someone else telling us to relax.
In the Martian movie, they got crucial science right, while enhancing the story by fictionalizing the science that remained.
We agree, but we're keeping that sin, damn it.
What? Do you read?
They're broadcasting this live? I mean, at least use a 10-second delay in case he dies, right?
Intercept velocity will be 11 meters per second.
I can make that work.
Why so confident? You clearly told us earlier that at 5 you could grab him, but at 10 it was going to be like jumping onto a speeding train. Now it's one louder and you're like, no prob, Chief. Sue Storm kisses Bucky in space, and all I can think is that this is Fox's desperate plea to marry Marvel franchises. This movie's climactic rescue plan involves intentionally blowing up part of the spaceship, and that's some bullshit. Incredibly, this shit works. The movie would have been fine just to catch this dude in the way they planned, which was already hard enough, but then they had to make it even more ridiculous.
You have terrible taste in music.
I think the writers had to meet a quota of Lewis's music as terrible jokes. So, someone not only had the idea, but then also stocked Times Square buildings with confetti on the off chance Watney would not only be rescued, but that tens of thousands would venture out to watch said rescue in Times Square. Somehow, Mark Watney's adventures as an international celebrity did not bring him thousands of supermodels to choose as his sister wives. That said, this flash forward is so unnecessary that even if Watney wins the lottery and gets blown by supermodels in this scene, I still won't care about it.
Now, you can either accept that, or you can get to work.
Even bullshittier he's teaching future astronauts now scene is even bullshittier and super annoying. End already! Credits have begun, and there's still way more movie left, but nothing we couldn't do without, that's for sure. Not only did Sean Bean not die in this movie, but he ends up teaching youth golf.
The Mars Terraforming Project will be the greatest achievement in the history of human exploration.
We'd like to take a moment here for a special thank you to our friend Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson for once again helping us find sins and the wins in a popular science fiction film. The honor was all ours.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
It's important to note that we're a couple of jackass comedians. And that could be fun, but there are people all over YouTube entertaining while actually educating and talking about important stuff. And Dr. Tyson is one such individual by way of his Star Talk channel. Do you like science? Do you like space? You should be subscribed to Star Talk. They do great, engaging stuff like this.
We're going to go to Mars. Do you see engineering challenges to that, or is it just?
No, piece
or
of
is it
cake.
only? No. Wait. No, I'm going to. This is a very serious question.
Yeah.
Engineers love a challenge, so don't tell me. Don't play that with me. A, B.
Oh, bring it on.
Don't
say bring it on.
Don't even. So my question is it just a matter of money, or even if I gave you as much money as you want, you might not be able to solve some of the engineering problems.
Oh, we can solve the problem.
Snap.
We can solve.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, because we land a rover from a freaking rocket crane.
Right.
We can solve the problems.
You can check out more of that video below, or just click and subscribe right now to show Dr. Tyson how much you appreciate his pitching in for one of our Sins videos. Or, you know, any of his actually important contributions to society. Just go subscribe. No signature required.
Wow, that sounds like a really good deal.
Thank you again, good sir. We had a blast getting corrected and clarified by you. We kind of heart you.
You are awesome.
And now for the outtakes.
Matt Damon.
Louis?
If you build it, you will come.
Open the inner hatch. I repeat, do not open the inner hatch. I repeat, do not.
Let's rock and roll.
6.
So you managed to get your shirt off.
Brondo's got what plants crave.
It's got electrolytes.
I mean, he's 50 million miles away from home. He thinks he's totally alone. He thinks we gave up on him.
The man is hurting. He is alone, tired, and he hasn't seen diddly squat from anybody down here.
Seemed like I should live with that decision, and I have. But today's my birthday. And it's a special one because you once told me that when you came back we might be the same age. And today I'm the age you were when you left.
Yeah, but Elrond?
One does not simply walk into Mordor.
I've been thinking about laws on Mars.
The metric system never panned out. We all had rulers with inches on one edge and centimeters on the other. I pronounced it centimeters instead of centimeters, and nobody ever corrected me. They just let me walk around stupid, so I'm not really upset we never crossed over, although it's helpful to know the conversions when I go to Europe. The liter bottle is the only thing that ever caught on, because it's a nicer word, liter, than quart.
My name is Max. My world is fire and blood.
Now, I'm gonna tether you to me. I know you never realized how devastatingly good looking I am, but I need you to stop staring and help me with the tether.